Hey everybody, real quick, picked up these two hammers at a recent show, paid $2 each. They're Stanley. We're going to do a quick restoration, and you could see these things are in pretty rough shape, but they're Stanley, and the handles are solid on there. And again, I paid $2 each for them, and we're going to see what we can do to make these things serviceable. Okay, step one will basically involve taking the hammer and using the wire brush and getting a lot of the rust off. And you can see it's kind of a lengthy process, but from there we'll decide what we have to do next. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to take the rust off using the wire brush and some elbow grease. Okay, we just got off the wire wheel, and we did a little. This is where you do your evaluation. Now you have to see, is this worth putting your time into, time and effort? It doesn't pay to put 2 hours into restoring a tool that's only worth $4, you know? So this is where you cut your losses. Now you can see of these two hammers, originally this one looked to be beat on a little bit from the side or whatever, but it's in much better shape. You could see the sides and everything, the steel is in much better condition. Now if you look at this first one, the one that was rusty, you see some of the pitting. Now some of this pitting is very deep, and because it's deep, the last thing you want to do is paint over something like that. That's going to give you problems. And you can see the head of the hammer, there's some pitting there and whatever. Now this is where the evaluation, because you never know until you take it to the wire brush exactly what's underneath. But what we're going to do is with this one, we're going to hit it with a we're going to take it over to the belt sander, the 1-inch belt sander. This one here, we're not going to do that. This one here, the steel is in good shape, and we might go over it with a fine hand sanding, but this one here definitely needs some work, and then we'll get to the handles later. So stay tuned. Here at the belt sander, this will make quick work at removing a lot of stock, and we want to get below that pitting area. So I'll just give you a quick example of what it looks like. You just got to keep taking that down until eventually all those pit marks are gone. Okay, we just finished with the belt sander, a little bit of flap sanding, but you can see we took off all the pitting, and as you can see, there's still a little bit left. I want to make this into a use. I'm not trying to polish it down into something special, but this there was quite a bit of pitting on this hammer. Took rid of it. It's going to be a good serviceable hammer when I'm finished. Now with this step, we'll take out some of these scratch marks. With the other hammer here, it's worthy to note that even though there's some dings in the side, this has what's called an original patina, and you don't want to mess with a patina of an old tool. You know, that's wear and tear through the years. There's no sense in really taking this down to fresh metal, except for the face. The face was a little dented up and dinged. So we'll fix that up, get that nice and smooth. But everything else, again, these are going to be usable hammers, and we'll see what happens with the next step. A little bit of hand sanding now. Okay, so the hand sanding's done now, and nice results here. Everything's coming along very nicely. Now I'm going to, the face of that came out really nice, and again, these handles were taped up to protect the wood, because that's done last. If anything should hit that when the wood is nice, the wood is very soft, and it, you know, could leave a dent or something. So we leave that till last. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, just for a little fun, I'm going to throw this on the buffer for a few minutes just to get that clean, and we'll take it from there. Okay, now we're at the buffer, and this will put in a nice luster to some of this area. Again, this hammer we're not going to touch because the patina on this is really nice, but we're going to go with, since we already took off some of this, we'll try and straighten out some of that. And basically what you're buffing is you basically, you know, just touch it nice and soft, and add some cutting cake to it, and then you'll see it'll come out. So when it's done, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, polishing's done. Came out really nice. Look at the face of that, huh? Came out nice. Again, I wasn't trying to make these into show hammers, but they're just usable. This one here, you can see I took out most of the pits and everything. except for that's a big one. I'd have to take a lot of metal out to get that. But now it's a usable hammer, like I said, all tight. Now I'm going to start working on the handle. I wasn't going to touch this with the buffer, but I couldn't help that front. That front is just such a sweet front. Stanley made such beautiful steel and good hammers. And they still continue to. And okay, so now I'm going to work on the handles. Okay, the handles are sanded, and let me tell you, this is one of the more tedious of the jobs, because on these old hammers they used to cover them with like a shellac, and they really absorbed the shellac. And this is some old growth wood. If you look at the growth rings on the bottom of this this handle, you could see how many growth rings are just on this handle. So these are old growth handles, very hard wood, good quality stuff. So now this is it's time for some linseed oil, and then we'll do a little painting around here where it was painted before, and we'll call this project done. Okay, this is the first coat of linseed oil. Because these handles are so dry and so old, I'm sure I'll be putting about a dozen coats of linseed oil on here. So you have to wait till it kind of dries, absorbs, which will take about 24 hours for the first, and then every day for a week. That's the way linseed oil goes on, about every day for a week, and then every week for a month, and every month for a year, and then every year for the rest of its life. But right now we're going to be soaking this in a lot of linseed oil and let it absorb into there. I wiped it down with some mineral spirits before I did it, and then we'll get to painting it. Okay, so we're basically, let's call it a day. We're done with this one. Handles are linseed oiled. The paint has been applied. Now, years ago they would use different color schemes, sometimes black. I like the red and green for these. Kind of brings out the polish. And I think it came out pretty good. Like I said, these are user hammers, so they're not really meant to be all minted out. But this one's a green, a hunter green. The other one's a canary red. I thought it kind of more classic colors. And that's it. So those are the restorations. Two $2 hammers. If I was to put them on eBay now, I might get $5 for the both. So I think I made my money's worth. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.